One of the most important goals of heart-centered psychotherapy is to help our patients more freely both give and receive love. My particular focus is in helping people with their receptivity to more easily take love in. And my experience over these many years is that when people are able to take in love, they become more loving. We have these patterns of not being able to receive easily love. And there are very common everyday examples of this. How often that we are unable easily just to receive a compliment or some kind of praise. How people have trouble accepting help or asking for help. We struggle in being able to easily receive affection. So these are just a few of what I refer to as love blocks. Unconscious patterns that block us from being able to simply receive the love that's available to us in our lives. And of course, it doesn't make any rational sense whatsoever that why should we block something that we need? It doesn't make sense that we would be struggling to take love in. Yet at some level of consciousness, it makes emotional sense. And the job of the therapy is then to find out why this pattern exists and to help people to work it through. So a key way to begin to think about this is to look at little children. If you look at little ones, how easily most of them just receive the love you offer and give it back and forth, an easy kind of exchange. So what's happened to us as adults that at this stage of our lives that we have difficulty in receptivity? Something has happened to our receptive self. The task then is to look at what has happened in the life of our client that has gotten them to the point where they have difficulty taking the love in. Oftentimes what happens with people is they say, well, that's true, but. Or they'll simply have trouble saying thank you when you say praise. At some level of consciousness, that person is feeling undeserving. Many of our patients come from histories of physical abuse or from histories of a lot of deprivation of physical affection because their parents were very depriving of that. So they have trouble taking in the physical affection that's offered to them, have trouble being emotionally and physically close. This love block I feel threatened when people get close to me. Another is the one that I learned about for myself, I call it, I want love, but only if it's a certain way. That I wasn't really taking in love unless I was special to the person that was offering it to me. That was an unconscious childhood wish to feel special to my parents. And I was still carrying that, and it was preventing me from taking the love in. Another is a love block that I refer to as love is not in the cards for me. And this is for those people who always feel like outsiders, that they're pariahs, that love is available to other people and not themselves. And so they're always looking from the outside and feeling envious. And the journey of the therapy is to understand why that pattern is there. And then the one that I'll talk a bit more at length about is what I call, I don't need anyone, I'm strong. And this is the struggle that people have about being able to accept help, either when it's offered or even to ask people for it. Why is that the case? And certainly when people help us, that's a form of being loving to us. A patient who I'll call Sarah had this difficulty. And I said, it sounds like you have a wall around you that won't let other people in whatever they offer to you. And she said, "Now, Bill, it's not a wall. You know those old-fashioned bank vaults? That's the way I envision it for me." And I began to say, well, why is that the case? Why do you think that developed? So what has happened to you in your life that makes that so difficult, that you can let people just help you? And then she's told her story. So what happened with her is that she had a very oppressive father, would explode with anger in their home. And her mother was a very fearful, judgmental person who had difficulty being emotionally close, and besides that was a religious zealot. So what was missing for Sarah was the things that children need the most: warmth, affection, loving kindness, a sense of safety in their home. Sarah used to think, how can I get out of here? I don't feel safe. What can I do? I feel so alone. And so what she decided was that she had to figure out ways to survive. And what she did was put this wall up, this bank vault wall that's been around her entire life. What was most important is that I created a sense of sanctuary. When you have someone who is so warded off, what you need to do is create an atmosphere of invite that out. Invite it out. And so one of the first things I did was whenever she came into the office, I always said, "Welcome, I'm glad to see you." And indeed, even when I first met her in the waiting room, I would offer her a cup of tea. I always made sure that my voice quality was quiet and warm and showed caring, all of which she never received before. Whenever she would start to cry, which was often, I would reach down and pull out a tissue. Like most therapists have tissue alongside the client's chair, I have it there and also by myself, so that for someone like her, I'd reach a tissue and offer it to her. Just a simple act of caring. In all of these things, I'm going beyond simply being the professional who knows good theory and techniques. I'm trying to show her that I'm a warm-hearted human being who's deeply compassionate, who is a safe person to be with, and genuinely cares about her as a person. So what happened gradually over a period of time is that Sarah became more and more and more open. She responded to my invitation to come out into the world more by telling more and more of her story, by being more open-hearted herself. And she was then able to accept the help that I was offering more a step at a time. And then gradually was allowing other people, including her husband and her children, to help her. When you're not able to take in help from other people, when you don't simply receive what they have to give you, you're actually making them feel rejected. They're offering love to you in the form of help, and you're saying, "No, I don't need it. I don't need that." So gradually, as she moved away from her primary love block, "I don't need anyone, I'm strong," she let in more and more assistance and caring from others. So with each of the love blocks, as I describe in the book in more detail, that is the process of helping people to let go of, a step at a time, these blocks. I don't deserve love, or I feel threatened when people come close, or I only want love in a certain way, or love is not in the cards for me, or I mentioned, the process is the same. The uncovering of how this got formed, and through our relationship with them and being loving, work through with them their struggles in being able to take in our love, and that then expands outward to the other people in their lives.